Today we're at Arrow Rock Dam, top dam being Anderson Ranch Dam, and then below we've got Lucky Peak, which is actually Corps of Engineers Dam. The three dams are operated in a series for flood control, irrigation, storage, and then of course they've got a recreation and fish and wildlife benefit as well.
So we're standing here above Lucky Peak. The primary uses for the reservoirs are flood control and storage for irrigation purposes in the Treasure Valley. Prior to the dams being built in the early 1900s, the Treasure Valley was nothing but desert, and aside from the mile on each side of the river, nothing grew but the sagebrush you see around me. And when the reservoirs were built and diversions were starting to happen off the river, the valley was growing, and people soon realized that they could take the water from the reservoirs in the river and expand out, start growing crops and developing this land. So without all of this, Boise would just be nothing but an arid desert. We're in a desert climate, and you need reservoirs and river systems to green everything, to grow everything.
They're operated for flood control in coordination with the Corps of Engineers, and so every spring when we fill the system, we coordinate with the Corps of Engineers to determine what flood control recesses will look like, and then we refill the system after flood control for irrigation storage. The reservoirs are all fully allocated, which means that the space behind the reservoirs is fully dedicated to water users, so irrigation districts, municipalities, and other entities like that.
So the Boise River is what we call a demand river, meaning that we only release water out of the reservoirs that's being called for irrigation. We have upwards of 80 diversions along the Boise River below Lucky Peak, and every day our office takes those orders from those irrigators or those diverters, and we call Lucky Peak and either release or cut back water to maintain the irrigation demand. There's no extra water being released out that isn't being used. After the reservoirs are full and we enter the irrigation season, the water master starts to deliver water for multiple irrigation purposes through the canal systems that are around the valley. So the Rhine-Basin Canal, the New York Canal, the Settlers Canal, etc. As the water is delivered down through those canals, the respective irrigation districts manage that water as they deliver it to their patrons. We use 100% of the water coming out of the reservoir every single year, and as a matter of fact, all of the water that's released out of Lucky Peak is used up by the time it hits Middleton. And after Middleton, the rest of the lower Boise River is supplied from return flows or water that's already been used up to 3 or 4 times. So every drop of this water in the Boise River is used anywhere from 5 to 9 times before it hits the Snake River.